and very important thing for you guys to understand. Once you understand this LC cycle, then rest of the things will fall in place. And this is very important thing. In any step, if you feel like you are lost, please stop me and question. Okay. Okay, so basically we have 4 players in this cycle. So applicant, who is nothing but the importer. So under letter of credit mechanism, the importer will be called as applicant and the exporter will be called as beneficiary. Okay, then we have issuing bank, and this is the person who is giving the undertaking. So this will be the person who has to worry a lot. So it has to have a credit facility with the importer, the applicant, and only then the issuing bank will issue the LC. And then finally we have a advising bank. So we will see why advising bank is there soon in the next few points. Okay, the step 1 will be the contract deciding. So the contract will have like what is the quantity, what is the unit price, who is going to take care of the loading, who is going to take care of the unloading, who will be paying the export duty, right? What is the tolerance and what is the color? Lot of things will be there in the sales contract, and the law practice, whatever it will be there. The transport mechanism, the transport method, then the insurance, who has to bear the insurance. And finally, it will also have the type of payment, the method of payment. So in this, the contract will be stating LC will be the method of payment. So after that, the applicant will go and present the LC application. So this will be the request placed by the applicant to the issuing bank. So once it sees the contract, applicant will know the time when it has to go and make the application. Then issuing bank will issue the LC. So it will not just simply issue for a random guy, for a walk-in customer. Issuing bank will issue a LC for the known customer after doing KYC, after doing credit worthiness. So they will analyze whether this person is capable of doing business, whether he is earning some profit, whether he is able to run the business, whether he will pay me back, because it is issuing bank's undertaking to the beneficiary. When issuing bank pays that to beneficiary, it has to get the refund from the applicant. So issuing bank has to worry whether applicant has the enough capacity to pay them back. Right? Agree with me, guys? Okay, guys.
Yes.
Am I making sense?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So now, after checking all these things, issuing bank will check the credit limit. Whether this fellow has asked to issue an LC for USD 100,000. Whether this fellow has the credit facility extended already. Then after seeing that, issuing bank will issue the LC. And nowadays, the banks use a mechanism called SWIFT. SWIFT. Okay, SWIFT is nothing but Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. So this is a trusted platform. This is again maintained. The members are all banks and a lot of governmental agencies and financial institutions. So these members, they exchange messages in a secured format. So when you receive a SWIFT message from a person, then it is not tampered, it is not a fraudulent one. Nobody has able to hack it. Okay, so each and every month, every member of a SWIFT community will be given an identifier code. So that is called a BIC code, bank identifier code. Okay, even a normal financial company, a fintech also can get a BIC code, which means that the unique code will be given to a member. And when he sends a message, that unique code will be carried in the message so that the receiver will know that the sender mentioned is the right person. It is an authenticated person. And this is not a fraudulent one sent by somebody else. Okay. So nowadays, almost 95% or even 98% of LC, bank guarantee, anything is done using SWIFT. And issuing bank will issue the LC in a SWIFT format, which is called MT700. MT is nothing but message type, and 700 is for the standard format given in SWIFT for issuing an LC. So this is why we require an advising bank, because beneficiary will not be a member of the SWIFT. PA needs another bank to receive it from the issuing bank and send the copy to us. Advising bank will advise the LC to the beneficiary. So when advising bank advises the LC, then beneficiary will come to know that this advising bank has checked, like who has issued it, and whatever the terms given in LC are fully transmitted to beneficiary. Okay, so the advising bank will receive the SWIFT in its own SWIFT system, and that will be advised in a PDF format or any other Word format or Notepad format, or even beneficiary may have a trade platform like online net banking. So there will be a trade platform given by the advising bank to the beneficiary when it's a client, and they can log in and download the LC advice. By this, beneficiary is having a protection. So in olden days, there will be mail LCs where people will send a paper format in courier. Now, even a HSBC Singapore name will be there as a issuing bank. By receiving a paper document, as an exporter, you will not know that it is actually issued by HSBC Singapore or a person in between, who is doing a fraud. Just putting name, using the logo, people can fraud. But using a SWIFT system, people cannot do a fraud. And that is the reason we have a SWIFT method and advising bank in place. Okay. So once the LC is received, beneficiary will go through the LC, and if all the contract terms agreed are all there in the LC condition, beneficiary will ship the goods. After shipping the goods, it will collate the documents. So there are few documents where beneficiary has to prepare on its own. Say for example, bill of exchange, invoice, packing list. So these are all basic documents which a beneficiary himself will prepare in his own letterhead and sign it. But there are third-party documents like bill of lading, where a shipping company has to give. Then there is insurance document, where insurance company has to give. So all these things will be collated, and your LC will be having certain time period. So before which you need to make the presentation. If you delay and present the documents after that date, then the document will be called as discrepant. Okay, so you will not get the payments as the issuing bank has given undertaking. And this is the important one which I was saying. So beneficiary has to take care of one important thing, which is nothing but it has to make a complying presentation. So the shipping documents collated by the exporter has to satisfy the LC condition and also the ICC publication, which is UCP condition. So only when exporter presents the documents in a complying manner, or they say clean presentation, only then the undertaking will be valid. Only then issuing bank will make the payment. If there is any discrepancy, then issuing bank's undertaking will be cancelled. I will take a pause now. Any doubt for you guys? Any doubt here, guys?
No, but I have a question.
Yeah.
Have any limit to open LC? Limited amount? $1,000?
Yeah, it depends on the trade. Say, first of all, as a beneficiary and applicant, you may trade for 1 million or 10 million or 20 million. So it is up to the issuing bank to decide whether the importer has such a business need. That is first point. Second point is whether the importer is a credit worthy one. So when you as an individual, when you go and approach a bank for your personal loan, so they will assess you how much salary you are getting, what is the need, and they will also see whether your repaying capacity is good or not. Okay, so this issuing bank also will analyze the importer's need, its banking practice, the repayment capacity, and the profit which it is earning, the P&L account, the balance sheet, everything will be seen. And when there is a need and when there is a capacity, even it can issue for 10 billion or 20 billion, whatever the amount may be.
Okay. Then another thing is in LC process, issuing bank, payment to adverse bank, right?
Right.
So all transfer bank to bank. If
Yes, correct.
if applicant want to cancel the LC in the middle time after opening the LC, is
Yeah.
it possible?
It is not possible. This is a good question. Once the applicant places the LC application, then the job of applicant in the LC process ends. So applicant will not have any role at all after that. The role will start and stop when LC application is placed. Okay. So issuing bank, once it issues the LC, the whole job of applicant is done. Applicant cannot come and change or cancel.
Okay.
And if there is a amendment, say for example, the beneficiary may want to change some condition. Okay. So in this case,
Okay.
beneficiary will tell the applicant to initiate the amendment request. Okay. So once the amendment request initiation is done, the issuing bank will first decide whether amendment can be issued or not. Once it is satisfied, the amendment will be issued. But again, only by issuing an amendment doesn't mean that the LC is changed or modified, because we have already seen that without the consent of beneficiary, the LC cannot be modified or cancelled. So now the amendment will come to the advising bank, and advising bank will advise the amendment to the beneficiary. Now beneficiary will decide whether this amendment I am accepting or not. It can accept or it can reject. Only after acceptance, the things will be amended.
Okay. If applicant don't payment to issue bank,
Yeah,
then what will be happened?
it is a headache of the issuing bank. So as a beneficiary or you are exporting bank, you need not worry about that. It is issuing bank's headache. So that is the reason issuing bank has to properly evaluate the importer. So before it extends the credit limit, it has to have a good relation, the banking nature, how it does, the credit and debit, whether any check return is there, how much is the profit for an year. So all these things has to be verified and evaluated by the issuing bank.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so we can tell if applicant payment or not in issuing bank, but advising beneficiary will get the payment, right?
Yes, that is the crux of the LC.
Okay. Okay, clear.
So now we are here in step 6. So beneficiary is preparing, collating the documents, and the first and foremost and the end, the last thing for a beneficiary will be presenting a complying presentation. And this is where the lot of exporter feels trouble. So now it will be your job to prepare a complying presentation. So as a beneficiary, now you will be able to prepare an invoice. So you will know how to prepare a packing list. So you know how to communicate with the shipping company to get the bill of lading or a airway bill. You can communicate to the insurance company and get the insurance certificate. But the expectation from you is preparing the complying presentation under LC and UCP. Now, LC requirement, anybody can read and do it. So LC will say present 3 original invoice signed by it, showing the freight amount. That anybody who knows the English can read and satisfy the condition. And a bill of lading showing consignee as some ABC private limited in Pakistan or something else. So as a person who knows English can read that, okay, this is the requirement in a bill of lading in the consignee. But now UCP states certain conditions. So I was explaining that for each and every document, there are some mandatory points given in UCP. So when a bill of lading is presented, it has to have a carrier name. So this is one condition. For example, I'm saying Any bill of lading has to say a carrier name. Okay, not only that. Second thing, it has to show the number of originals issued, whether it is issued in one original or whether issued in 3 original. So all these things are given, dictated in UCP. Now, our job, your 3 guys, you guys are going to learn this requirement. So in the coming classes, I'm going to give you these mandatory points, which when you prepare an invoice, when you receive a bill of lading from the shipping company, you need to see whether all these things are all there. And this is where in step 6, your job is going to be crucial. Okay, so now the beneficiary is presenting the documents, which is satisfying the LC condition and satisfying the UCP conditions. Then advising bank will forward that document to the issuing bank. So issuing bank will not just pay you. It will take time to verify the documents. So it will check the LC condition, it will check the UCP condition, and it will check ISBP, whatever rules is given. It will check it. And once it finds the documents clean, then it will make the payment. So issuing bank will deliver the document to the importer, which is applicant. Finally, route the payment to the advising bank. Then advising bank will credit the money to the exporter. So this is a normal scenario where there is no discrepancy, there is no issue. Beneficiary was able to present the complying presentation. So complying means satisfying the LC and UCP requirement. So now there is no issue. When there is an issue will be when the documents are discrepant. So in the next slide, we will see what happens when discrepancy comes. So before that, we will learn these 2 things. So confirming bank and nominated bank. So this is nothing but banks like advising bank. So when a bank is just doing a advising role, receiving the LC, sending the copy to the beneficiary, receiving the documents, sending it to issuing bank. Then from issuing bank, receiving the money and crediting it to the beneficiary. So this is just a normal postman job or an agent job. So here, a simple advising bank will not have any obligation. So as a beneficiary, you cannot go and hold the collar of the advising bank asking for payment. But now, as an exporter, you have a problem in trusting the issuing bank. Because now issuing bank, for example, consider that a case of Sri Lanka. So there is a bank, issuing bank sitting in Sri Lanka, which is a strong bank. Maybe you consider it as HSBC Sri Lanka. So HSBC is a strong bank, but there is a country turmoil. So now no bank is able to make the commitment. No bank is able to make the payment. So even though it is HSBC, because of the problem, the internal problem in Sri Lanka, no bank is able to make the payment. Now, as an exporter, you are worrying about this condition. Even though it is HSBC, I may or may not get the payment. Now, you need extra protection. So this is where the confirming bank comes. So confirming bank is nothing but a bank which may be sitting in your own country. Say, for example, you may be sitting in Singapore. Now, you expect a bank in Singapore to give the same kind of undertaking which a issuing bank is giving. So first, the issuing bank issues the LC, requesting or authorizing another bank or maybe the advising bank itself to become a confirming bank. So this bank will add its confirmation to the LC. Now, the beneficiary will have 2 protection. One is from the issuing bank, an irrevocable undertaking. Then second is from the confirming bank. So confirming bank is also going to give you the irrevocable undertaking. Got it, guys? Got it? Any doubt?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can
Mary.
you explain repeatedly?
Confirming bank?
Yes.
Yeah. See, for example, you have seen the risk of HSBC Sri Lanka. So you have received the LC, and the LC is stating that any bank in Singapore can add the confirmation. Now, as an exporter, you are feeling that the payment may not come, even though there is LC, even though there is a issuing bank which has given the promise. Due to some problem in Sri Lanka, the payment may not come. So now, EPI, you feel that a similar kind of bank undertaking, if it is there in your own country, in your Singapore, or your Turkey, or China, or Bangladesh, you will feel comfortable, because in your own country there is a bank which is following the same country law, and there is not going to be any problem in your own country, that you very well know. So you expect a bank, maybe your own bank, where you are banking with. Say for example, in Turkey, you are having a bank account with Standard Chartered. So now you will go and apply Standard Chartered. You will request them to add the confirmation. So Standard Chartered will not be just a advising bank. It will become a confirming bank. So now the role of the advising bank and confirming bank are different. Even though Standard Chartered is the same person, first, when it acts as an advising bank, it doesn't have any obligation at all, apart from receiving the LC and sending it that. So by that, it satisfies that it has authenticated the LC, that only the so-and-so issuing bank has received it. But when it acts as a confirming bank, when it steps into the shoes of a confirming bank, the obligations are totally different. Confirming bank is now promising the beneficiary that even though applicant is not paying, even though issuing bank is not paying, you can get the payment from me. Got it?
Yes, got it.
So now confirming bank's undertaking is going to be irrevocable, independent, and without recourse. You remember these words, right? Irrevocable is nothing but without beneficiary's consent, LC terms cannot be modified or changed or cancelled. Independent is nothing but any other agreement, applicant issuing bank relation, issuing bank advising bank relation, nothing can be spoiling or bothering the undertaking given by confirming bank to beneficiary. And the third one is without recourse. When a confirming bank makes the payment, it is done and dusted. At any circumstances, confirming bank, that Standard Chartered Turkey, cannot come and requesting them to pay them back, saying some reason like I didn't receive the money from issuing bank, applicant did not receive the goods, or applicant is saying that there are only empty boxes you have received, so you need to pay me back. No reason confirming bank can say that to get the payment back. Got it?
Yeah.